I'm M. Carter Pierce, and this is the Daily Reel. Even the Senate GOP is about sick of Donald Trump now. Yesterday, in a vote over Trump's 50% tariffs on Brazil, the Senate GOP led the charge in with the Democrats and said no. They voted it down. And even Mitch McConnell, who, giving credit where credit is due, is a brilliant strategist. He was that for years. Well, he's not exactly all there now, but he was that for a very, very, very long time. Even he said that you have to go back to the words of Reagan, that these tariffs just don't work. They were tried just before the Great Depression to try to avert it, and they actually caused it. And then 100 years before that, they tried to do tariffs, and it didn't work. And now here we are again, 100 years later, trying it again because of Donald Trump's ignorance. No, they don't work. It's becoming clear, I think, to Republicans, dyed in the wool Republicans anyway, the true conservatives, that Donald Trump is not one of them, nor is he for them. They're starting to see the light that next year and 3 years from now, if we still have a country then anyway, they're going to get massacred. They're going to lose their jobs. And that's not what they want. They can see themselves getting voted out because they keep going along with the stupid ass plan from the Great Pumpkin. And people are tired of it. Courts are tired of his lies. They're calling him out left and right. They've been doing that. Look at what happened just yesterday in Tennessee. Is it Tennessee? In the Abrego Garcia case. In that hearing, where the judge called out Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi. They lied to the court. They just harassed the man. They tried to clean up their mistake, but instead of doing it the right way, they tried to do the blame shifting game, and it's failing. This man now has a solid case for vindictive prosecution. And he'll probably get fast-tracked to protected status in this country. Well done, Donald. Meanwhile, Tom Homan's beating his chest and saying this man will never be in this country again. Well, here he is. He's here. And I don't think he's going anywhere. Behind hateful, divisive rhetoric, name-calling, and utter nonsense. Plain and simple lies. I also warned today, you see, the Trump administration, let's look at what the ultimate goal is here. The ultimate goal for Donald Trump is absolute power, not even just the U.S. He wants to be the king of the world. The way he struts and boasts and carries on, he'd like to overrun Putin if he could. Good luck with that. You try to push Putin out, Putin will have you killed. You can't fight him. In any event, it starts here. He's been working two fronts. The first has been to manufacture emergencies, such as the failed attempt in Portland, Oregon, where he said that, quote, the city's on fire and it's just burning down. Well, not only did Congress people, but average citizens that live in Portland took video from there where streets were quiet, people were shopping and riding bicycles. There were people dancing in inflatable costumes and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's burning down, all right. And judges saw through it and said, no, you don't put the troops in there. No, it's not going to happen. Keep the troops out of it. Then there was the attempt at a manufacturing by MAGA Mike Johnson, where Republicans were swearing the No Kings Day protests were going to be Hate America protests, and Hamas and all these terrorists were going to be there, and all this violence was going to erupt. Well, guess what? Not one No Kings protester was arrested. But do you know who was? 8. 8. Count them. Eight. Eight MAGAs, including a 56-year-old woman who pointed a gun at a protester from her car. 8 MAGAs were arrested. Not one, no King's protester, but 8 MAGAs were. Is it becoming clear to you yet? Donald Trump sold a dream, not just to the American people, but he sold it to the Republicans, and basically made them feel as if, hey, you get me in here and you help me stay in here, you keep me in that chair. And when I take over the country, when I take over the world, you will have 12 thrones next to mine and will rule beside me. The eyes are beginning to open now. It's not going to be that. The manufacturing failed, so now the new thing is, let's hit them economically. Let's cause economic unrest. First, come November 1st, and if the Obamacare subsidies are not extended, the average person's insurance will jump 3 times. In other words, like a family member of mine who was paying $500 a month for him and his wife, $500 a month. Their bill is going to go up to $1,400 a month. From 5 to 14, it almost triples. I've heard of another one where a family paying $2,000 a year, their bill is going to go up to $6,000 a year. So there's one hardship. That's why the government is shut down, because Democrats said, no, we're not going to pass a budget that includes that. And by the way, that's not just for Democrats, as Donald Trump would like to paint that out, because a lot of low-income Republican families and kids are going to be affected by that too. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm not cheerleading for them. I'm just stating facts. So, okay, let's put the squeeze on even harder to make them do it. Now, we have $5-6 billion in SNAP funds and an emergency fund that we could use to pay SNAP benefits in November, but we're going to withhold that. We're going to withhold that, and we're not going to pay anything out in SNAP. So that means both Democratic and Republican families, and especially those with children or disabled people or senior citizens, are not going to get their SNAP benefits. At Thanksgiving, they're not going to be able to eat. I can already see the suicide rate going up as we speak. But the important thing about this, whether it's manufactured or it's the evil that he's perpetrating right now, is be cool. Because if he's successful, he wants the violence. He wants a riot. And there have been videos on YouTube where people have said, if they don't release my SNAP, I'm going to go take it. I'm going to go take my food. He wants that. He wants it whether it's manufactured violence or real violence. Why? Because a greedy man will always seek power first. And that would open the door for him to invoke a state of emergency, which unlocks a plethora of presidential powers. He can invoke martial law. He can invoke the Insurrection Act. He can then put troops everywhere he wants. He can install curfews. He can lock you up. He can also, after martial law, invoking martial law, the next step is going to be suspending habeas corpus, which is the core of our due process rights. What habeas corpus literally means is you have the body. And when you file a writ of habeas corpus in a court, what that's saying is, you're now in possession of my body. You have to do something with it. But if there is no habeas corpus, you could be arrested and held without even a charge. And at the same time, Donald Trump then usurps Congress and the courts, which have been the only two things, mainly the courts, that has kept him in check thus far. He sold us a dream. Well, not me, because I didn't vote for him. But he sold a lot of you a dream. And he sold the public a dream. But it's his own fever dream. And he won't stop until he achieves it. Or he dies. One or the other. This is Project 2025 Plus. Unfortunately, the courts already figured it out. Congress is starting to figure out. Now, there's some Americans that need to figure that out too. Because you're not going to be sitting on 12 thrones with him ruling the universe. If anything, you'll be serving below his throne, sweeping up his crumbs. I'm M. Carter Pierce, and this has been The Daily Reel. Like, comment, share. Unless you're MAGA, then I don't want to even hear from you. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you tomorrow.